Good morning students. Today we are starting our second practical. Actually the number of this practical in the manual is 11th number. Why we are taking along with the first practical? Because 4 practicals are of first unit of BCC syllabus, and that is why along with that practical we are taking this practical, 11th practical. Before discussing this practical, we will see first of all the vision, mission, practical outcomes and course outcome as well. The vision of our institute, as we have discussed in last practical, is to be excellent in technical education to empower youth. आपको मालूम होना चाहिए या लेट मी टेल यू कि NIT पॉलिटेक्निक की शुरुआत जब से हुई है तब से ये इंस्टीट्यूट बेस्टेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट टेक्निकल एजुकेशन यहाँ पढ़ने वाले बच्चों को देने की कोशिश कर रही है, ताकि बच्चे अच्छी तरह से अपने अंदर टेक्निकल स्किल्स डेवलप कर सके और आगे बढ़ सके. Then the mission of this institute is imparting quality technical education to prepare students with excellent technical skills. बच्चों को क्वालिटी टेक्निकल एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड करना और उनको तैयार करना, और साथ साथ उनके अंदर में टेक्निकल स्किल्स भी डेवलप करना. देन डेवलप कॉम्पिटेंट एंड एम्प्लॉयबल डिप्लोमा इंजीनियर्स विथ रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन्स. स्पर्धात्मक और मार्केट में यहाँ के स्टूडेंट्स को अच्छे से अच्छा जॉब मिल सके, अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल सके, और साथ में वो अच्छे नागरिक के तौर पे भी आगे आए, इस तरह के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स उनमें डेवलप करना. देन द थर्ड मिशन ऑफ दिस इंस्टीट्यूट इज स्ट्रेंथनिंग इंडस्ट्री इंस्टीट्यूट इंटरैक्शन. इंडस्ट्री और इंस्टीट्यूट के बीच में जो रिलेशंस है उनको मजबूत करना, ताकि यहाँ के स्टूडेंट्स को अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म मिल सके, मार्केट में अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिल सके, अच्छा बूस्टअप मिल सके. ये इसके पीछे का उद्देश्य है और यही इस इंस्टीट्यूशन का मिशन भी है. नाउ वी विल सी अबाउट द प्रैक्टिकल आउटकम्स. देयर आर 7 practical outcomes modified. Number 1 practical outcome is basic and discipline specific knowledge, means to provide the basic and discipline specific knowledge to the students. The second PO is problem analysis. While doing the practical or experiments, whatever problems will arise, those problems should be analysis first. Then the third PO is design and development of solutions, means after analyzing the problems, develop or design the solutions of that problems. Okay. Then the fourth practical outcome is engineering tools, experimentation and testing. Applying different kinds of tools while doing experimentation or practicals, and simultaneously while testing also. Fifth practical outcome is engineering practices for society, sustainability and environment. Whatever engineerings we are learning or studying, those engineering practices should be used for the society, because without using these engineering practices we cannot sustain in the society. Or we should develop the attitude of eco-friendly or environment-friendly in the engineers. Okay, fine. Then the sixth outcome, practical outcome, is project management. means small projects are assigned to the students. Micro projects are assigned to the students, and through those projects students are developing their team spirit, they are developing their leadership quality. Simultaneously also they are improving their communication skill as well. Then the seventh practical outcome is lifelong learning, means whatever experiences would come to the students through the practical or experiments, they will retain that experience or the study throughout the life. And for this second practical or 11th number practical, which practical outcomes would be applied? Number 1, students will get basic and discipline specific knowledge. Second, they will improve their communication skill and team spirit also. And along with this, whatever experience they will get through this practical, they will retain throughout their life, right? And the course outcome for this 11th practical is again communicate effectively by avoiding barriers in various formal and informal situations. फॉर्मल और इनफॉर्मल सिचुएशंस में बैरियर्स को अवॉइड करते हुए इफेक्टिवली प्रभावी तरीके से संवाद करना या संप्रेषण करना. दिस इज व्हाट द कोर्स आउटकम ऑफ दिस प्रैक्टिकल. द नेम ऑफ दिस सेकंड प्रैक्टिकल, which actual number in the manual is 11, is explain the 8 principles of effective communication. Dear students, in last video we have seen the basic concepts of the communication and business communication, right? And also we have discussed the importance of business communication, that no organization or no company can enhance without the communication, especially regarding the business, right? But if we want to improve our communication in a very effective manner, then we have to follow the certain principles of the communications, right? Those principles we have to study in this practical number 2. Already I have told you, you will get practical number PO1, practical outcome number 1, that is basic knowledge and discipline. Basic knowledge and discipline knowledge. Okay. Then you will learn that there would be course outcome number 1, and that outcome is communicate effectively by avoiding barriers in various formal and informal situations. The principles are as follows. The first principle is principles of effective encoding of the message. Dear students, in the diagram or in the figure in last video, I have told you that there are 5 main elements in the communication process. if those 5 elements are working effectively and equally, then the communication process can go smoothly, right? On the part of sender, this process of encoding is going on, because sender means the person who sends the message, and it is the responsibility on the part of the sender to encode or to design the message properly. So the sender should keep in the mind that he should be aware of the purpose of the communication. जिस पर्पस से सेंडर कम्युनिकेशन करना चाहता है वो पर्पस उसको मालूम होना चाहिए. He should be well aware. अच्छा उनको उसकी नॉलेज होनी चाहिए. He should accordingly select proper words. जो भी उद्देश्य होगा या उसका जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट होगा, उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट या उद्देश्य के हिसाब से उसको शब्दों का चयन करना है और बाद में मैसेज को बिल्कुल एररलेस तरीके से क्लियरली एनकोड करना है, डिजाइन करना है. देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी काइंड ऑफ कंफ्यूजन और एम्बिग्युइटी. किसी भी तरह का कंफ्यूजन नहीं चाहिए या अनक्लियरिटी मैसेज में नहीं चाहिए. द सेकंड प्रिंसिपल of the effective communication is clarity in stating the purpose. When you will state your message, then the message should state the purpose first. Means your purpose should be very neat and clean. You should be, or the sender should be well aware of that. It should be direct in its intentions. Means for what purpose you want to send the message, that particular intention should be clear and direct. It should state the line of action clearly, and accordingly, sender should take the line of action. There should be very clarity while sending the message. Third principle of this practical is correctness of the message. The message should be very correct. There should not be any kind of mistakes or errors. It should not have any incorrect information or misleading details. मैसेज में किसी भी तरह की इनकरेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं होनी चाहिए, या आप किसी रिसीवर को या सुनने वाले को मिसलीड कर सके ऐसी डिटेल्स आपके मैसेज में नहीं होनी चाहिए. ओके, देन द फोर्थ प्रिंसिपल ऑफ दिस प्रैक्टिकल इज कॉन्साइसनेस ऑफ द मैसेज. योर मैसेज शुड बी शॉर्ट बट स्वीट. द की ऑफ or the key to effective communication, or the key of effective communication is its conciseness and brevity. Means short and pithy sentences, क्योंकि ये सबसे ज्यादा प्रभाव डालते हैं सुनने वाले के ऊपर, रिसीवर के ऊपर. इसीलिए द सेंटेंस शुड ऑलवेज बी शॉर्ट इन लेंथ. जैसे अभी बताया, sentences should be very pithy sentences. These ensures understanding. If we design the short and pithy sentences, then the receivers or the audience can understand your message very easily. But if the message sentences are lengthy, then those lengthy sentences can lead to confusion, and that is why message should not be very lengthy, or the sentences of the message should not be lengthy. The fifth principle of the second practical is completeness of the message. Whatever message you will design, there should be the sense of completeness. The message should be complete, and completeness should not be displayed or should not be filled. by the receiver or the audience. It should cover all areas of consideration. Means whatever expectation are expecting by the receiver or the audience should be fulfilled. And still maintain its focus. Means it is the responsibility of the sender to maintain the focus on the message of the text. So it depends on how he or she, means sender, design the message. A complete message helps quick and efficient functioning. Means if your instructions or the message or the guidelines is clear, then it helps for quickly functioning or efficiently functioning. That is why completeness should be reflected while designing the message. Sixth principle is coherency of the message. The message should have logically sequence and flow. Means the words and the sentences should be well connected. Every sentences, every word should be sequentially connected and the meaning should be flow very logically. It should progress in such a way that the receiver gets a clear picture. Means your message should progress in such a way that the receiver should get the clear idea or the clear picture of your message, that what actually the sender wanted to say. What is actually its expectation? What actually he wants to expect? Is that clear? Then the seventh principle is courteous language, means respective language. Language in all types of communication should always be courteous, means respective language. Benevolent language. The goodwill that courtesy generates helps in building long-term relations. If you are using courteous or respective language for others, then the relations can be developed for longer terms. That is why we should always take care while communicating that the language should be very courteous or respectful. Then the eighth principle is selection of proper channel. When you are sending or the sender sending the message, he should take care whether he is using proper channel for sending the message or not. Selection of channel depends on the urgency of the message. Urgency of the message. If your message is very urgent, then you can choose the channel accordingly. If it is not that much more important, then you can choose another channel. The message, the capacity of the receiver and availability of the sources to send the message, proper channel ensures proper transmission. Yes. For sending the message, using or choosing the proper channel depends on the capacity of the receiver. उसके कैपेसिटी के ऊपर, क्षमता के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, ठीक है, या उसके पास में किस तरह के अवेलेबल रिसोर्सेस है मैसेज सेंड करने के लिए, उस पर डिपेंड करता है। लेकिन हमको ये ध्यान में रखना होगा कि सही चैनल हमारे मैसेज को प्रॉपर तरीके से ट्रांसमिट करने के लिए मदद करता है। सो sender should always keep in mind, as per the importance, as per the urgency of the message and the availability of the resources and the capacity of the receiver, he should choose the channel for sending the message or transmitting the message. The ninth principle is knowledge about the receiver. Very important. It is essential that the sender should aware who is the receiver or who the receiver is. सेंडर को ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि रिसीवर कौन है, रिसीवर कौन है, उसकी एज क्या है, उसका एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड क्या है, उसका कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड क्या है, वो सारे पैरामीटर्स ध्यान में रखते हुए सेंडर ने मैसेज को डिजाइन करना चाहिए. दिस नॉलेज हेल्प्स हिम इन सिलेक्टिंग द राइट वर्ड्स एंड प्रॉपर चैनल. ये मालूमात रिसीवर के बारे में सही शब्द और चैनल को चूज करने के लिए सेंडर को मदद करती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सेंडर शुड नो अबाउट द एज ऑफ द रिसीवर, सेंडर शुड नो अबाउट द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ द रिसीवर, सेंडर शुड नो अबाउट द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द रिसीवर, सेंडर शुड नो अबाउट द नॉलेज ऑफ द रिसीवर, सेंडर शुड नो अबाउट द इफिशियंसी ऑफ द receiver, sender should know about the intelligence of the receiver, because if he knows each and everything about the receiver, it plays a very key role in communication or for smooth communication. Got it? And the last principle, that is the 10th principle, is defining a clear line of action and feedback. Sender should ensure the message receives an expected feedback. Sender should ensure that the message receives an expected feedback. Means whatever message he sent to the receiver, the feedback must get to him, because feedback needs to be positive and prompt. It depends, my dear, it depends that how the sender sent the message. If he sent the message by taking all the cares, then definitely he will get the positive and prompt response. Therefore, the sender should care that he defines the timeline accordingly. Means when the sender is sending the message, he should decide the time that within this stipulated or in this stipulated or fixed time, he should get the feedback or the response. But for all these things, sender should send the message very carefully by taking all the cares of the barriers, that he should know that no barriers would come in sending the message to the receiver. Okay, then and then this kind of clear line of action can be possible, and he can get the feedback also clearly. So these were the 10th principles of practical number 10. So dear students, here I am stopping, and I declare that this practical is finished over here. Thank you very much. In next video, we will see or discuss another practical. Till then, thank you very much. Thank you for patiently listening me. Happy reading to all of you. Thank you.